Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into something really cool from Binance. It's a feature built for anyone who's looked at crypto trading and thought, man, I'd love to get in on that, but I just don't have the time to learn everything from scratch.
I mean, let's be real. This is the big question, right? You see all the buzz around crypto, you see the potential, but then you see the charts, the jargon, and it just feels, well, overwhelming. But what if you could jump in without having to become a pro trader overnight?
And yeah, that's the heart of the problem, isn't it? So many people want to get into crypto, but that learning curve, it's steep. And let's be honest, it can be really risky. It's like wanting to play a new game, but you have no idea what the rules are.
And look, if you feel that way, you are definitely not alone. It's a huge barrier, and it's exactly this gap that big platforms like Binance are trying to close. They're actually building tools specifically to lower that barrier to entry, to make it easier for people like you and me to get started.
So let's talk about the solution they came up with. It's called Binance Copy Trading. And honestly, the best way to think about it is like a bridge. It connects people who are just starting out with traders who've been doing this for a long, long time.
Okay, so what is it really? Think of it this way. You get to piggyback on someone else's expertise. You find an experienced trader on the platform, and with a few clicks, the system automatically copies their trades in your account, using your money. You're basically leveraging their knowledge in real time.
All right, a quick heads up. There are actually two main types of copy trading. For what we're talking about today, we are sticking only to spot copy trading. That's the simple one. It's where you're buying and selling the actual crypto coins. The other kind, futures trading, well, that's a whole different ballgame. It's way more complex with higher risk, so we're going to park that for now.
Okay, now we get to what is probably the most crucial part of this whole thing. How do you actually pick a trader to copy? And I want to be super clear. This is not about just picking a name out of a hat. It's all about looking at the data.
So Binance basically gives you a report card for every single trader. You'll see stuff like how long they've been trading and how many other people are copying them. But the two numbers you really need to focus on are ROI and P&L. So let's break down what those actually mean.
All right, so you're scrolling through and you see a number like this, 21.19% ROI. On the surface, that looks pretty good, right? But what does that actually mean, like for your wallet?
It's actually super simple. ROI stands for Return on Investment, and it basically tells you how much bang you get for your buck. So, a 21% ROI means that for every $100 you invested, this trader's strategy made about $21 in profit. That's it. It's probably the most honest way to see how well they're doing.
Okay, then you've got P&L, which is profit and loss. And this one can be a little tricky. You might see a huge number, like, whoa, this person made almost $9,500, and that sounds amazing. But you have to ask, on how much? Because if they made that on a $10,000 investment, wow. But if they made it on $1 million investment, not so much. That's why P&L by itself doesn't tell you the whole story. You need to look at it with the ROI.
All right, so you've done your homework, you've looked at the numbers, and you've picked a trader. So now what? Well, how you set up the copy trade is just as important as who you pick. So let's go through the smart way to get this thing running. When you go to set it up, there are basically four main settings you need to pay attention to. Think of it like your personal control panel. We're going to walk through each one because this is how you make sure you're protecting your money and trading exactly how you want to. First up, and this is probably the most important one, you're going to want to choose fixed ratio. This setting is just brilliant. It basically means the system trades proportionally. So if your lead trader puts 10% of their big portfolio into a trade, the system will put 10% of your smaller portfolio into that same trade. It keeps everything perfectly in sync no matter how much money you're starting with. Number two is your safety net. It's called the stop loss, and honestly, this should be non-negotiable. You get to decide right up front the maximum amount you're willing to lose.
So if you set a 10% stop loss, you're essentially telling the system, hey, if things go south and my investment drops by 10%, pull the plug. Get me out. It's your built-in protection.
And this next one is all about putting you in charge. It's called pair preferences. Just because you're copying a trader doesn't mean you have to be in on every single coin they trade. Maybe there's a crypto you just don't believe in. No problem. You can just go in and uncheck it. You have the final say over what's actually being bought and sold with your money.
And you know, that word control is something I really want to drive home here. Setting up the trade is just the first step. The whole system is built from the ground up to make sure you are always in the driver's seat.
You're never locked in. Ever. If things are going well, you can add more money. If you need some cash, you can pull some out. You can change your stop loss anytime. You can change which coins you're trading. And if you decide you're done, you can stop the whole thing with a single click. It really is that simple.
So this all kind of leads to a bigger question, doesn't it? As tools like this become more and more popular, you have to wonder, is the future of trading less about being an expert chart reader yourself and more about being really good at finding other experts to follow? It's a pretty interesting thought. Thanks